Hi, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are having a great day today. If you're new here, I want to welcome you to School of Scarlet, the School of Unconditional Love. And if you are a new or returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning back in. And I want to welcome all my new subscribers to this channel. So thank you so much. So today we're going to be talking about divorce, and or if you're in a relationship and it's just a breakup, you could think of it either way. So, we're going to be talking about those difficult times in life that some people go through. Not everybody goes through divorce, not everybody goes through heartbreak like this, but most of us experience it in one way or another. If it doesn't turn into a divorce, there's been times that it's been that close. So, we will talk about that today. And what does that mean in terms of the heart, in terms of everything that we've been talking about, unconditional love, and or if you've had an awakening of some sort, a shift in your consciousness in some sort, what does that mean? What kind of issues arise from that? And they're not necessarily issues, but we see them as issues, so we're going to kind of transmute that in this video and kind of talk about that. So we'll just start with the basic topic of divorce. Now, I can share some of my experiences. I have been through a divorce, and that was many years ago. So I'm on the other side of that. So I can kind of share with you my experience in that, as well as, experiences even in a new relationship, or, the relationship after that one, or whatever. I can share those experiences with you here. And some of those will probably open up some things that are very similar to maybe things that you have been through, because what one person has been through, it's pretty much a shared experience. It may not be the same details, but we suffer the same ways and we go through the same sort of processes a lot of the times. So I'm going to be sharing that with you. So just to start off, I was married. We'll start off with the divorce. I was married to my first husband for a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years. Um, and during that time, we had a good relationship. Everything was fine. In my eyes, from my perspective, everything was fine. And we had a child, we bought a house. Everything was how I imagined it to be, how I thought a healthy relationship was supposed to be, until it wasn't. Until I found out that, he had broken my trust in a certain way. And you may know what I'm talking about. I don't want to go into all of the details of things, because sometimes when we do that, we get too stuck in them. And basically, we can say he broke the trust. And when that happened, obviously there was issues, and that's when everything bubbled up and came to the surface that there were issues. There were things that were an issue for both of us at that point, and we just hadn't been paying attention to it. So anyhow, that all happened in that way. But now, from where I'm standing now, I can really honestly say, really, one of the best things that happened to me was that divorce, because I grew so much from it. Yes, it's a sad thing to have to, break a union with someone when really what you're seeking is unity. So in that relationship, after the trust was broken, um, I had recently had a bunch of health issues, which is what kind of snowballed everything. He wasn't able to be emotionally available for me, to talk to me, to really even be with me during that time. So that kind of really unraveled things to begin with. And of course, it stemmed from something deeper, but that was what kind of broke the dam, you could say. So my health issues and being in and out of the hospital and him not being there became a problem. And then I got really, really sick, to where I had this near death experience. And coming out of that, I talked to him about it, and he wasn't able to understand that, nor did he want to hear it. And it was a very interesting situation, because he flat out told me, "I'm sorry," and he did apologize. I can't. I can't hear that. I can't know that. And all I was trying to share was my near death experience, which was a very beautiful experience, by the way. So, like most of them are. And so I was sharing something beautiful with him, but for whatever reason, that wasn't able to go through. And he wasn't even able to stand to hear it. Now, he was an atheist, and the near death experience doesn't necessarily shouldn't really shake you up that much to really offend those beliefs. It's just something that I experienced. He could have still believed what he believes. As a matter of fact, the whole marriage, I was a Christian while he was an atheist. So I was, in my religion, practicing and going to church and things like that. And he was in his. So there was no problem there. But for whatever reason, this was a very touchy subject to him. And he literally could not hear it. So he asked if I just could please not talk to him about anything that was happening within me, which became very difficult, as you can imagine, because not only was I dealing with a lot of heavy issues like health issues and then these now spiritual issues that weren't really issues, but they were changing the way I was perceiving things. So it would have been nice to have someone to talk to about those things. But anyhow, he flat out said he couldn't talk about it. Well, within a couple of weeks, I was on the computer, and that's where I discovered the distrust and everything that was there. And so that was shown to me. So a lot of things will begin to happen. I had that near death experience. I had a shift in my perception. I had a shift in my health. I was very unhealthy, not knowing what was going on, in and out of hospitals. And after my near death experience, I returned to pretty much optimal health. Everything came back to normal, including things that were not even relating to the issues I had. So it was a complete kind of rebirth in a sense. But at the same time, what we find so many times is when these things happen, a lot of things begin to fall away. Those things that no longer resonate or no longer energetically match with us. So I talked about this in another video that when we first meet our romantic partners, we're at a certain energy, a certain frequency. And whether you want to believe that or not, we are. We are always emitting energy and frequencies, and there's different types. A person that is very depressed, if we measure their energy, it's very low. And those that are very happy, joyous, things like that, they are vibrating at a much faster, higher rate of frequency and energy. So that's just seen. But anyhow, we can't see it with the naked eye, but science could, but our internal knowing can know this. So what we don't realize is happening is when we meet someone and we begin to get attracted to them, something about them seems attracting to us, and we want to go with them. We're actually experiencing a match. We're experiencing that they are like us, that they are vibrating and acting and behaving and expressing themselves similar to what we are. So that is very comforting, and so it's a match. Now, over time, relationships change, things change within a person. Um, Women change. You could have gotten married to a young woman, and a few years pass, and she has a baby, and now she's a mother. That's a whole nother realm. When a woman becomes a mother, it opens up a whole nother realm of focus, of love, of attention, of understanding of the world. So it opens up basically a whole nother version of yourself. So the person is always changing. Women certainly change a lot through the years. And I'm just speaking because I am a woman and I know the changes that I've gone through. And so as your child begins to age, you also go through this changing based on, the changes in the environment. Your child is not needing you as much with, so much caring of their basic needs. So now they're a little bit more independent, gives you a little bit more time, and now it's time to really discover yourself. So you go through these different stages, and that's completely fine. So at some point, even after motherhood, a lot of times people are no longer connecting. The husband feels left out, or the husband is not, energetically connecting to the wife anymore because she's so focused on the baby. And maybe he hasn't made that connection of how precious and actually good that is for the whole unit, as in unity. Everything is always wanting to come into unity, even when it seems like it doesn't, when the husband's like, resentful or something about the wife spending so much money and time with the kids or whatever it happens to be. um, that is actually he's wanting connection. It's just a misguided, misunderstood sort of way to do it, an unconscious way to do it, you could say. But everybody is wanting to connect, to be together. So anyhow, we're going to go through these stages, and let's say it's that mothering stage and there's a little disconnect between now the husband and wife. because the wife has changed so much. She has now become a mother, and the husband has become a father, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that to integrate because he hasn't carried the baby in his womb. He hasn't felt everything that you've felt. Or, if you're a woman watching, you know what I'm talking about. But so there is this times that things will change, or maybe one partner, maybe the husband or whoever it happens to be, um, finds religion, or has a near death experience, or something happens to shift that person into a state of more love. And so that raises their frequency or vibration to another level, to where now the wife or the other partner is no longer really a match. They're kind of a miss. And when they're a miss, there's a lot of misinterpretations, a lot of misunderstandings is what it is. A lot of misunderstandings that can happen because one partner is really coming from a very loving point, and the other one is coming from like maybe a more serious point of believing that the world is so serious and we need to do all of these things and keep up appearances and do this and that, where the one up here no longer sees that. They don't match. This one is so worried about the earthly matters, and this one is so worried, well, not worried, but this one is so embodied in love and in peace that it can't play in the realm of stress, anxiety, worrying about things that are no longer matching with it, or no longer real. Those are just illusions at this point. So it's like living in parallel realities. And that can be very painful when one person is living in bliss and the other one's living in, heartache or suffering. That can be very painful for both parties. Now, both parties are actually wanting to unite, but there may be a situation where there is a partner that is um, growing, but not growing to the rate that the other partner is, and maybe they'll never catch up. And so they'll always be growing, but it may be that you will be a little bit mismatched here and there. So, and that's the dilemma, that really everything is happening from within out. And so, when you have a partner that's triggering you, when you have a partner that's upsetting you and doing things like this, these are also opportunities for you to look inward and see, is anything that they're doing or they're expressing that's bothering me? What is that tied to? What is that tugging? What is that rubbing up against in me that is causing pain? Is it something from the past? Is it something from, who knows, something from really the past, from, long, long time ago in your family history, maybe something that's been passed down? Is it something within that relationship that you just haven't healed or have never really sat with or felt? So these things will begin to happen, and they'll be your teachers. So it might be miserable that you're living in this parallel reality with someone, but you are growing, because every time that lower, it's not, there's no hierarchy, but just the other partner that's at a slower rate of growth, not that that's good or bad, that's just how it is. That partner will begin to rub up against things that are still not healed, and maybe pull this one down a little bit, but as it does, it pulls it down and gains momentum because this one feels it, works on it, and grows more. And so the space can become even bigger depending if this one is triggering enough and this one's growing, and not allowing for it to really uh, pull them back into fear or any of that stuff. If they just continue to grow, the distance can become a lot greater. So, in that case, for example, that would be a situation where you're in a situation, well, one person really has grown a lot and they're very understanding, very forgiving, and things like that. And a lot of times, the other partner will trigger them. And maybe the other partner is becoming, or has always been, maybe mean or hurtful or more negative, if we could say, like the kind of partner that comes home in an angry mood and is like, I've had a bad day. Everybody get out of my way. Maybe they drink. Maybe they do these sorts of things that we see a lot of people engaging in. At least I see that. So, what we see with that situation is that it's a very unhappy person. It's not their fault, it's the way that things have played out so far in their lives. And there's a person here that has found peace, and this person's trying to bring them along. And it's okay. Don't worry about that. Let's go have some fun. Let's go walking. Let's go do this. So this partner tries to pull this one up, but this one just can't. Right now, that person can just not do it. So that person will stay there. And at some point, what this person really has to do, if you are that person with the loving vibration that has really shifted up, not that that's better, it's just what's happening. So if you're that person, it's just important to stay in your feelings. So if you're feeling good, continue to feel good. Go out and do the things. If your partner doesn't want to walk with you, doesn't want to participate in those fun activities that you so wish that they would, or you wish that you would be able to have someone or whatnot, do those with yourself. I know that can be hard. Maybe there's some activities you can't do by yourself, but find someone else maybe with it. And that's not to say to leave the marriage, that's just to say a friend or anybody else. Go out there and do the things that you want to do. Keep yourself at the level that you've gotten to, because if you can stop here just for a moment as we're talking and really just look back on your life and see how far you've come and where you're at now, this is precious and this is beautiful. And so enjoy this. And it's going to have life is going to have people that are on a more negative note. It's going to have things that somebody's in a cranky mood when you go to the store. This weird things like this are going to happen, but we have to stay neutral, and we have to stay steady in what we are and where we've come and where we are now. In our point, that's where we are. So we want to stay where we're at and only continue to expand and grow. If we get pulled down a little bit, it's fine. These things happen. But it's just realizing you've come a long way, and where you're at now is exactly where you need to be. And if there is a situation where you're involved in a relationship with a lot of triggers, things that are happening, maybe a partner that's very unhappy, um, keep your happy. They may be unhappy, but it doesn't mean that you have to join their misery. Misery, they say misery loves company. That's a no more. We're going to end that. We're going to cut that out of our lives. There is no more misery. We are in joy, we are in happiness, and we are going to stay with that. We're going to be respectful and honoring of our own selves and our own desires and needs. We've been so often worrying about everybody else's needs, and are they comfortable? Do they have peace? Do I need to lower what I need? Do I need to limit myself or quiet myself down because of these other people? No more. We are going to be ourselves, and if other people cannot handle that, then those people will actually begin to remove themselves. So, what will begin to happen in a relationship is if you decide to stay with your happy and keep your happy, and your partner remains on the path of misery because that's their story at this time, they're going to remain on that path of misery for quite a while until they're going to hit a wall, because there's always a wall. You can't continue on with misery forever. You're going to hit a wall. And when you hit that wall, or when they hit that wall, they're going to break, and they're going to turn around and return to love, because there's no other way. That is when people break down and they pray to God for help, or they go seek someone, call their mom, or call their wife again, whatever it happens to be. These people will go as far as they can with this suffering, but you cannot go the whole way. There is a stopping point, and that stopping point is there to reroute you to love. There's no more. You're going to hit that wall, and there's going to be no more. And when that person turns around, you as their loving partner may or may not be there. You can decide to choose to leave. You are free. And in you allowing them to be themselves in this whole process of you allowing them to suffer out their misery the way that they want to, and you allowing that for them, but you also allowing your truth and letting them know, I don't feel that that is the best thing, or whatever feelings you're wanting to express to that person that's causing that conflict, whatever truth you have to express, expressing your truth and allowing them to express their truth actually gives each of you complete freedom. So you will get complete freedom for once, and you will be able to basically breathe and realize, wow, now I have freedom. I'm allowing them to really go through their journey as it unfolds for them. Um, and I'm allowing myself to speak my truth and or leave if I so choose to do so. So, really allowing that freedom there. And that person, like I say, is on their journey. They're on a journey just like you are to love. And life is just, there really is no meaning in life. It's just whatever we give it. But in my eyes, the way I perceive things, everything is kind of working with love and it's trying to return to love. And that's the way I perceive things. But essentially, you give the meaning to life and you can say however you want. But the way that I perceive it is in this way. And it makes sense to me and it seems to me that that is how it works for what happens in my reality. So give space in these touchy, iffy situations for everyone just to be who they are without judgment. And as soon as you drop that judgment, you actually will experience that freedom because in dropping the total, just completely letting it go, basically saying, I'm going to let this go to the universe, allow this person to move along their journey and find love however it is for them. Knowing that everything is actually happening for you. So, that process, that painful process of having to watch someone in their suffering or not wanting to connect or being so misguided or misunderstanding how to connect, it can be a painful process, but there is growth and beauty in that, even for yourself as that person. And you will experience this immense amount of freedom in that. So there is freedom in allowing others to be themselves completely, and in that we get total freedom as well. And it may not be the the most beautiful story at the way we see it in this moment, but when we look back after this is all past, just like when I look back on the divorce, I can actually say that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And do you think I really could have said that in the moments of it happening? No, I couldn't have. It was not good at all. I was crying, I was sad. And but now, where I'm at now, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And it makes complete sense why it happened. Of course, things don't have to be like that. Like I say, you can just continue to not judge and love the person, and they may turn around and they may have their own awakening, and they may come to love, and you may unite again and have a very beautiful union. So anything can happen, and I've talked about in other videos as well. You can visualize or put out into the universe what kind of relationship you want. But I wouldn't get too hung up on this. Just put it out there what you want and then go and be happy. Do your own thing. Don't sit there and focus on, I want it to be this way, or I'm going to visualize and write all these things out and make this vision board and do all this and that. That's really wanting it. And when you want it that bad, it's signaling that you just don't believe that you can have that or that's even something for you. You're not a match to that. So you want to get into that vibe of just being happy. And when you're happy, you're a match to everything. Everything can come to you, and most certainly the things that you actually do want. So just put it out into the universe and go out and play. Go out and do some of the things that you enjoy doing, and try to create and have happiness in your day. That's important. Love yourself and love others, and just emit love, and all of that will be returned to you. Everything that's happening is happening for you. Even these experiences, even if you have a divorce, even if you go all the way through and you have a divorce, it's happening for you, and it will be okay. You will always be okay. You have always been okay. You're divinely supported here in this universe, and there is nothing more than love. And the universe, infinity, is you, and it's loving itself, and it infinitely loves you. So, just like that, I infinitely love you as well. So, just to close up here, I am still offering my unconditional course. The unconditional course is a course that reorients you to the heart, and it aligns you with your heart's desires and begins to really help you to just go and now live through the heart, through truth, through you, through what you are. Basically, it's aligning you to you. Where so many times we're aligned to our brain and we're aligned to the outside world and trying to please the world. So, if you are interested in this course, it's a 3-month course. It's a live interactive course. It's very highly supportive. It's at its very old time low price. I have an early bird special going on just to September 9th, so just a few more days. Uh, so if you are ready, just email me at schoolofscarlet@gmail.com. And in the subject line, just write, I am ready, and as many exclamation marks as you want, and I can get you enrolled in that class. So, or course. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, give me a thumbs up so that we can get this video out there, share it. Let's get more people aligned to their heart and love so we can have a more loving, beautiful world.